Thank you for being with us. You are the director of the NGO in Senegal that defends the environment, youth that are volunteers for environment, and it is present in 30 countries. How does it feel to be a young volunteer for the environment? Thank you very much for having me this morning in this debate about the Sahel region. And our work, volunteering work, is to involve the youth in protecting the environment because we have seen that whatever you decided today is for the future. And I usually ask questions when I go to debates, discussions. Who will be here in 15 years, in 50 years? And it's the youth. It's now that they should be prepared. It's now that they should adopt this behavioral change and for them to become eco youth, if I can say so, and preserve the environment for tomorrow. Because when we talk of climate change, we refer to the future, and when we talk of the future, we cannot do without the youth. So we need to make sure that the youth is committed and they are change agents. And you go to schools, is that so? Yes, for the schools, we have partitioned it. We have two generations. We have the adults that caused all these problems that we are seeing today, but we have this generation of young people and children that are feeling or that are affected by the impact. So we want to have this eco generation via programs at schools. We try to sensitize these children in schools for them to adopt good behavior. And we believe that those are the leaders of tomorrow, and it's now that we should take action. Yes, of course, it's now that they should be involved, and it is important that the youth and civil society are heard. And when all leaders of the world were in Glasgow for the COP26, you had your own version of COP26. You had the demonstration for climate. It was a way for you to be heard as far as climate is concerned. Yes, we are 230 million in Africa, in the Sahel region. How many of us are in the world? And all of those people should be able to have a conversation with the leaders. And we had our own COP to show the leaders that what they are discussing about is not reflecting the needs and willingness of the populations on ground. So we had our own version of the COP, and we had our own recommendations, and we are urging leaders to take into consideration these recommendations. So we organized our own COP with the youth, and we are working for them to be more involved. Do you have the feeling that the youth is more and more engaged in this issue? Yes, 100%. Because when we had our organization created in 2010, 2011, we were alone in this fight. But today we can see that in Senegal, in Cote d'Ivoire, and in many other countries, there are so many organizations working in the same field. And we have programs in association with other with other um, youth associations. And this is being done uh, in silos. What we need now is to work in synergy and build capacity. But we believe that there is a lot of commitment around the issue. Stay with us, please. Asafo, do stay with us as well. You were saying that the youth is very committed. I'll ask the question to Cecilia Balde. Good morning. Good morning, Cecilia Balde. You are a regional advisor for education for UNICEF. Uh, Does the youth have all the necessary means and tools to act upon this issue?
I would say no. Yes, because in many of the countries, there is already at least learning programs on environmental education that are in theory available on offer, but in practice, To what extent are these programs being supported in teaching and learning, in improving knowledge and skills? And so I say no, because there isn't enough of a political commitment, whether it is in terms of capacities of teachers, whether it is in terms of the availability of resources. I think the political commitment can be a lot better. But I also want to add that there is a major issue around helping young people to translate what they learn into application of the knowledge that they acquire. And I think that's where the problem lies. And the question of application requires that young people start with themselves, that what they learn should not just remain as theory, but that it becomes translated into tangible actions that they themselves can do in their homes, in their communities, and in the larger environment. And that cannot happen without the political commitment in terms of technical expertise to support and accompany them, and in terms of the financial commitments, especially increases in domestic financing for education. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and please stay with us, Cecilia Balde. You are connected, as many of other young people are here with us around the Sahel region. It is true that the youth has taken the bull by the horns and has engaged in uh, initiatives. We must say again and again and reiterate that developed countries had committed to 100 billion US dollars for Africa. Now, I would like to talk about the concrete actions that have been carried out. We have Awa in Guinea, who is 15 years old. He's a young girl at the youth parliament. So, a junior MP, if I can introduce her as such. Awa from Guinea, are you with us? I'm being told that it's the case, but I would like to be able to see you and hear you. Good morning, Awa. Good morning. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. As a young girl at the Children's Parliament, do you feel that your voice is heard when it comes to climate? It is true that I talk a lot, um, but I don't know if I'm understood. I have the feeling that when you're talking to adults, because they're the ones who make decisions, do you have the feeling that you're able to convince them? Yes, when adults put ideas forth, I need to have my say to give my opinion regarding those ideas that they are giving. Yes, it is very important to always find a common ground. What were you able to develop as an initiative with some other young Guineans to make things change? As we speak, we can talk of training because it is crucial. We need to be trained before we sensitize, raise awareness. So we need enough tools, capacity building for that. So we had opted for training and education. So educating children, uh, are they the same age as you? Um, we have children younger than me, the same age and even older, because when we start early, we know that they will grow with these in mind. Do you have any message to convey to other young people who are listening to you? Yes, of course. So, as a child, a young girl, and as an activist, I would say that we are the leaders of tomorrow. and we should avoid procrastination, which is to avoid doing what we can do today, tomorrow. And we need to find solutions against climate change. And we should stay focused on our priorities, because tomorrow we'll have priorities other than climate change. Thank you for having uh, taken part into this discussion hour. We have Yvette from Cameroon. I'm being told that the connection is working better. So good morning, Yvette. Before we talk to Asalfo again, Yvette, how old are you? I'm 23 years old. So 23 years old. Can you tell us more? Because we're talking about initiatives. Which initiatives are you willing to share with us? First of all, I would like to say that we, the youth from the Sahel region, we need to keep in mind that climate change is affecting all of us, and we should build on that to put in place initiatives, because this is uh, the world we will inherit. So we need to be conscious and aware of climate change. We need to go on the field and raise awareness around the issue. And as young people, we should exercise hygiene and uh, sanitation to avoid diseases and live in a clean environment. As far as hygiene and sanitation are concerned, we should work on uh, producing biogas through fecal waste, human and animal uh, fecal sludge, for instance, and we could um, use recycled plastic in agriculture, and in doing that we could plant uh, species in those plastic bags, for instance, and we should commit as young people to each of us plant something. Each of us could plant a tree or any species of our choice for tomorrow, for the future. Asalfo, when you hear these young people on projects, concrete projects, you feel that all they need are the resources, the means to act upon them. So how would you react to that as an artist? Um, I can see that they are very dynamic and they need support in their project. I'm with a young man from Burkina who was talking about his initiative, and this shows his engagement to work around programs that are developed to fight against climate change. Um, there are three projects that I've heard about, and they're working a lot on awareness raising. Some are working on recycling uh, plastic waste to create pavement material. You have seen that earlier. Yes, it is very good to show it once more, Asalfo. And they're also working on reforestation or afforestation. Um, we had this idea of having for each marriage or happy event to plant trees. You can imagine the number of weddings celebrated in Africa. If we were to plant trees for each of those celebrations, it would be something huge. And as we do in each school that is um, inaugurated, we try to plant trees because we are trying to send this message to children to tell them that they should grow with this habit of protecting, preserving the environment. So all these initiatives that I'm seeing in Burkina Faso are telling me that these should be replicated throughout the continent. All these young people need is support. and we need a motivation. We need the political commitment to support them. Aside for, we know that you are very busy. We know that this evening you have a concert. Now, uh, let's give the floor to Lars from UNICEF. He is in charge of resilience. He is actually the embodiment of resilience at UNICEF. Lars, are you with us? Yes, Juan. You wanted the floor. It's over to you. This is quite encouraging to hear and see all this. And in Chad, the youth is very committed. You want to have this network in place, and we need that network to be up and running because we need your voices. Now, Juan, if you allow, I would like to piggyback on what Kumba Gallo said. Um, they refer to air pollution, which comes from industries and cars as well. And we see that a lot in big cities of the Sahel region. Should we or could we talk more about that as far as what could be done is concerned? And in Dakar, we had conducted a study at at the national office, and we wanted to see how air pollution was affecting asthma. So we want to work more on many other sectors because the impacts are felt in all sectors, and we have this commitment and this willingness to continue to work together and keep in touch. We have young people who have shared with us their email addresses, and this won't be the end of this collaboration. I'll give you back the floor. We might have others who want to react as well. Thank you very much, Lars. We know that this is a huge debate. You are in many countries, spread in many countries, and we have some technical issues related to it. But thank you. We are now going to the Gambia and giving the floor to Dauda. Good morning, Dauda.
You do have a BA in biology. You are very much involved in NGO works. Dauda, could you tell us how your voice?
Yes, Dauda, you have a license in biology. You are very committed into climate actions. What do you want to say? Why do you raise your voice today in this debate?
All right. Thank you so much. First, to say thanks to UNICEF for granting us this opportunity. I mean, young people to talk about climate change. I think it's important for young people to be given a platform or the opportunity to speak up, because I believe that we are not only victims of climate change, but we are also valuable contributors to climate action. So young people want to be heard because they believe that we should not be backbenchers in terms of discussions around climate governance and implementation, but we should be given an opportunity to also take part in decision making. Because giving us the room to take part in these discussions, it means that you are giving room for innovation and more climate action. Because young people have, I mean, what it takes to bring about change and to also scale up their efforts to fight against climate change. So what I just want to tell our leaders out there or governments is that young people need to be given the opportunity to actually talk about climate change and also take take part meaningfully in climate change discussions. But also they should not always let's take an example at COP26. We've seen that recently, just recent, the COP26 has just ended, and global leaders and climate activists met there. A lot of things has been said, a lot of commitments have been made, but when it comes to implementation, a lot of our leaders don't really do what they say at these conferences, and a lot of people have seen these conferences as even festivals that are actually, commemorated yearly, but a little is actually comes out of it. So I think our leaders don't have to just make mere promises, and at the end of the day, they don't really implement some of those promises and commitments they make, but they go back to give license to companies who actually exploit our resources and actually expose us to extreme weather events. And at the end of the day, it is the young people and the women who suffer, most.
Merci.
Auda, I am paying tribute to everyone else behind you because I can see that at the Gambia UNICEF office, there is a crowd. Gausu in Bamako now, you have the floor. If we can get connected to him, he would take the floor immediately. Gausu, please. Gausu, how are you this morning? I'm fine, thank you. You are 23 years old. You are the co-founder of an association gathering young people in districts. So it is Banyala one young people who initiated this association to work on waste disposal boxes so as to have a more sound environment. We made calls for projects and raised funds, and we received 17 million CFA francs from donors, and we mobilized 2 million among the community. And in our area, we have a garden that has been developed, and we have also developed a garden marketing area too. So you have put in place an economic interest grouping, as we call it. How many of you do compose the association? We are 10 members, and we are of diverse expertise, architects, agriculture engineers, legal experts. So at the beginning, when you had the idea to create this association, did you say it was complicated and you were just going to give it a try, or were you deeply convinced and committed? There are many young people who are listening to you, and they might be saying, well, this is quite a nice idea. I could be able to do that. I may be able to do the same thing, but how to fund it would be the issue. I think that it was indeed difficult at the beginning due to the funding issue, but we still tried, and thank God we raised funds, and with the commitment of the communities, we did succeed in having something in place. Environment protection cannot do without us, the young people. The environment is protecting us if it is protected. So we have all interest in protecting the environment. We should not be standing and waiting for somebody else to come and help us or do things for us. We have to be the active ones. Asalfo in Ouagadougou, young people should not be folding their hands waiting for somebody to come and help them. Indeed, that is your message. The young people are already standing ready. Through the Magic System Foundation, I have assisted some young people in waste recycling, and we do encourage all youngsters who are interested in that to come and present their projects for tangible investments. And I am talking to all young people throughout Africa and calling them to act against climate change. So thank you very much to all those young people who are following us this morning. I have been impressed by the Burkina Faso initiatives. Asalfo, we have to let you go because you are very busy, and you went to the UNICEF offices in Ouagadougou, and we thank you. We wish you success in your concert tonight. You youngsters, we have Gajol in Chad. Gajol in Chad. Are you connected? Oh, here she is. Good morning, Kajol. I thank you. How about you? I am happy to be with you, Kajol. Please tell us about your initiative. What is it all about? Could you tell us about your initiative? In our country, we have a number of initiatives that are to span over years. She has to move away her mic. If you don't move the microphone away from your mouth, it would be difficult to hear you. So get more committed in fighting climate change through advocacy, sensitization, and peer mobilization, as well as community mobilization for adaptation to climate change. We do undertake citizens' actions related to climate change through the development and sale of pamphlets protecting natural parks, recycling waste, environment education in primary and secondary schools, hygiene and sanitation, especially in areas that are affected very frequently by floodings. We should contribute to spreading the understanding of climate change through training sessions at national level and call upon national and international trainers to deepen our knowledge of climate change. And agriculture, renewable energy production are among the actions to promote against climate change through our awareness raising activities as to the use of the reduction of fossil energies. We want to contribute. Thank you for these activities that you have devised in Chad. Aji, I do hope that this time round you would be connected. Aji, please. We hope that you are rightly connected this time round. Bonjour, Aji. You are given the floor. Take advantage of it. Tell us about the...
Can you tell us, Aji, about the initiative that you have in the Gambia regarding climate change?
Gambia, sorry, Gambia.
Yeah, the names are really familiar. That's right. So, in the Gambia here, there's not much being done, honestly, about the environment because the nature of like the importance of these discussions and these actions being taken is like immeasurable, and to a certain extent, dialogues are being made. I, for one, I participate in so many like table discussions about climate change because I believe you don't need to be a nature lover to actually talk about and advocate for change towards these issues because it's something that affects us. So I participate in pageants and I represent climate change because a friend of mine recently, I was talking to her about joining this platform. She was like, I know this is something that we should talk about and we should like be interested in, but I feel like the subject is kind of boring. So that is why I took the approach of going about it in the art way, like making it interesting for people to be eager to learn about it. Because in the Gambia, many people are causing devastating harm to our environment because they are ignorant about it. The government, and all the people that are supposed to be protecting the environment, they are like taking little steps. And the people that are supposed to be protecting the people that are supposed to be protecting the environment, like the people that are supposed to protect the forest, they receive bribes and they let people go past, and like this is like devastating. So I write poems about climate change. I go about my activism in the art format because I love acting, I love poetry and all of that. So when I have the opportunity, I write poems and go out there and show people through words, because words are so great. They can change, they can make or break this world. So that is like the tool that I use to like join and combat in this fight.
Merci infiniment, Adji.
Thank you, Adji. It's quite interesting what you just said. Have a nice day where you are in the Gambia. I'm sorry for the mistake I made. There are 10 countries, a dozen of countries that are connected, and please excuse me for the mistake. Let us take a 10 seconds break before we get to our third session.